There was a time when I kept telling myself I wanted to change my life, but my actions said something completely different. I wanted more discipline. I wanted more confidence. I wanted a stronger body and a sharper mind. But every day, I kept choosing what was easy. I wasted time on my phone, scrolled for no reason, ate whatever I wanted, stayed up too late, and then wondered why I had no energy left for the things that actually mattered. For a while, I thought the problem was my personality. I thought maybe I was just lazy. Maybe I didn't have enough willpower. Maybe I was the kind of person who could never stay consistent. But eventually, I realized something important. The real problem was not that I was weak. The real problem was that I was surrounded by comfort, distraction, and cheap pleasure. When your brain gets used to constant stimulation, hard things start to feel impossible. That is exactly why training changed the way I see my life. Working out is not comfortable. It is not instant. It doesn't give you a reward in 30 seconds. You have to show up, even when you don't feel like it. You have to push through discomfort. You have to repeat the same actions again and again before you see real results. And that is why it matters. To me, training is more than building muscle. It is practice for becoming someone I can respect. Every set teaches me something. Every rep reminds me that progress usually feels boring before it feels exciting. Every workout tells me that I do not need to follow every impulse that enters my mind. That lesson changed everything. I started to understand that if I filled my life with easy pleasure, I would always struggle to do meaningful work. If I spent hours on my phone, of course I would not want to train. If I kept chasing comfort, of course discipline would feel painful. You cannot live on constant stimulation and then expect yourself to enjoy effort. So I stopped trying to motivate myself with big speeches. Instead, I started removing the things that were quietly weakening me. Less scrolling, less meaningless noise, less time feeding habits that gave me pleasure but took away my focus. And once I created that space, training became different. It was no longer just exercise. It became a way to rebuild my life. When I trained consistently, I slept better. I ate better. I respected my time more. I started trusting myself again. Not because I was perfect, but because I kept coming back. That part is important. I do not believe real change comes from being perfect. It comes from returning. You miss a day, then you come back. You lose focus, then you reset. You have a bad week, then you start again. The people who change are not always the most talented. Often, they are the ones who return before quitting completely. That is the mindset I believe in now. If I want a better life, I cannot keep feeding the habits that make me weaker. I have to reduce the noise. I have to make room for effort. I have to choose actions that build me instead of pleasures that drain me. And for me, training is one of the clearest ways to do that. It reminds me that a better version of me is not going to appear by accident. I have to build him, one decision at a time.